Hey everyone, it's Crystal. I was Miss California a couple of years ago, and people are very surprised when they find out that I had to do my own makeup. In fact, all of the Miss America contestants have to do their own makeup. So I went to work scouring YouTube looking for Asian eyes, pageant, tutorial, big hair, eyelashes on YouTube. And of course that query was too long, but I wasn't really able to find any tutorials that taught me how to do big pageant makeup. So obviously in the last few years that whole space has exploded, but I wanted to document how I did my makeup so that in case someone out there was in my position, not really sure of how to really layer it on to look good on stage, this is something that I wish I had. So I'm going to get started, and with a bare face, this is my journey and this is what I do before getting ready to hit the stage. I'm starting off with a moisturizer. This is the Snail Bee moisturizing cream, but you can use any moisturizer. One of my favorite drugstore brands is Olay, and it's really, really inexpensive. They have a really good one that has sunscreen in it, but I'm kind of a sunscreen nut, so I actually am going to layer with a sunscreen right on top of it. This is one that I bought on Amazon. People were raving about it on Reddit, so I decided to give it a shot, and it's really nice. The texture comes out kind of like a milky little serum type of consistency. And it leaves a little bit of a white cast, but it's not like crazy, geisha status white pancake. Okay, so now that your base is done, usually I let it dry for a bit, and then I go over to a primer, and the primer is really key because it keeps all of your makeup really set on your face for a super long time. You don't have to use a ton of primer. I use this dupe of a primer. It's actually Monistat chafing gel, but I just use a little bit and it works quite well. So I'll just take a tiny bit, smooth that all over my face too. It has like a silicone kind of slippery feel. Okay, now that we're done, the base is finished. I like to go straight into concealer. So I'm using this MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. And at Miss America, I actually used concealer as my foundation and my concealer because I really wanted that full coverage, total, like blemish-free sort of doll look, because that looks really good on the stage lights. But in general, for a regular pageant, you probably could get away with foundation plus concealer. So starting with concealer, I like to go first because then the foundation, when it sits on top of it, helps make the concealer a little more natural looking. I take like my MAC tiny little concealer brush, and then I use my fingers and I spread it around. I cover all of the little pimpy pimps. So now I don't rub it in too much because next it's time for the foundation, which is just gonna fill in everywhere else. I'm using the Studio Fix Fluid. You can use literally any foundation as long as it matches your skin tone. I like to try a lot of different things, and I don't think expensive is always the best. Although there's certain brands like MAC that I think really kill it in the stage makeup game, because I think they were like developed by makeup artists, but I'm not totally sure. I know this is kind of a ridiculous way of application, but it doesn't really come out of the jar. So doing this little shake weight motion to get it out in little pieces. I also like to use every last drop of my product, so if I'm feeling particularly value oriented, I won't always use a brush. I'll just use my fingers to tap it on because brushes do absorb a lot of the product. MAC 107, and I just leave it for the sake of time. This is really nice. I don't have to worry about getting on my hands today. I can just sort of breeze through this tutorial more quickly. Now I'm going with the primer for my eyeshadow. I've used concealer on this step just because I don't think you have to buy a super expensive new primer just because it has one purpose. I also use concealers that end up being too dark for me or too light for me. Now we go with eyebrows. So everyone has a different way of doing eyebrows. I like using a big fat old pencil. This is some no-name brand. I actually got it in Vietnam. It was probably like 25 cents. I also use like the MAC Taupe Philix eyebrow liner. It has a spoolie at the end, which is nice. You just start off in small little brushes like this. You just follow the natural shape of your eyebrow. I think it's really important not to rush this part, because whenever I'm in a rush, my eyebrows always end up looking really derpy and uneven. Don't stress out too much about it, but at the same time, obviously try to get them looking similar. And take your time. That's been my biggest realization, is eyebrows and eyeliner, take your time. Because it's like really, really bright stage lights a lot of the time, don't be afraid to drag out the legs of your eyebrow. From farther away, it'll make your eyebrows look longer and it'll just make your face sort of pop. I'm using this Lorac Baked Matte Satin Eyeshadow. You want to use like a whitish color all over your lids. And this is just something I kind of throw on. I don't take too much time on this. Put it all over the place. Now I'm moving over to an older Too Faced palette. I don't know if they sell this anymore. They might, but not in this packaging. It's got like 9 different colors. I'll go with sort of this color, the mid-range one, and I'll only stick with the outside. Same on the other side. Now, as you notice, I've used the same brush. So I'll have like a towel next to me, and I'll just, in between shades, I'll just go ahead and sort of wipe. Then I start with a little dark color all the way on the end. And the key here is to do it super gradually and do not be heavy-handed with pigmented eyeshadows. You can always add more. It's a lot harder to take it off. Right. And now I'm going to take like a super, super darker color, like a black. And this, anytime you use like a dark color, it's mostly evening. But again, on stage with the stage lights, you can definitely afford a little bit more drama. I'll just put them right at the end, create the illusion of super dimensional eyes that are deep set and therefore bigger. Then I'll take my MAC 224 brush and I'll just go ahead and blend everything out so it doesn't look blocky. So these colors I used today were more on the grayish, kind of slate down to black. You can use anything in sort of the equivalent in the brown shade, or even in like the auburn or reddish shade, depending on your skin tone and your hair. All right, so now that I've blended it out, I'm gonna go back in and then re-add some of the dark in the corners again. So what I do is I dab and I literally dab. I dab and then wipe, dab and then wipe. But these are like super tiny, you know, light as a feather types of dabs. So you don't pick up too much pigment. Because as I said, you can always add more. It's a lot harder to take pigment off. You want to work gradually, kind of like an artist. Don't rush it. And if you notice, one thing I'm constantly doing is I'm looking from one eye to the other, one eye to the other, just making sure that I get it as symmetrical as possible. All right, good enough. So now it's time for eyeliner. I'm using this Tony Moly eyeliner. It's actually a Korean brand. I think that the brush that it comes with kind of sucks, so I'm using like an angled brush. This is just from ELF. I've had this for literally 10 years. You can use any angled brush. So as that dries, I'll usually take the same black eyeshadow that I was using and just go right over it. Oh, you can see a little bit of transfer there. Open my eyes too quickly. For the end of the wing liner, I'll use like this Maybelline Ultra Liner. All right, now it doesn't have to be perfect. This is the powder I usually use. It's the Coty Airspun powder. And I'll like bake by putting the powder down here. Now it's time for mascara. So you take your eyelash curler. I like Shu Uemura's. And this is actually the I'm Dual mascara from the Mimi Box sale a couple weeks ago. It's actually a brown. I'd highly recommend using a black, but. All right, so now that we have our mascara and our lashes on, I like to go under the eye and basically create some shading so that it looks like it's not just a ton of stuff going on top and nothing on the bottom. So I'll usually take like a brown color and then I'll start bringing it down here. Then I'll take a thin black liner. This is the same Maybelline Ultra Liner. Do a really thin black line. And then I used mascara to fix these little areas. And then I used white liner. This was a Makeup Forever, a white liner, white pencil liner. And then I took a dark pencil, put it into and then I finished it off with winged eyeliner. Then I also took black eyeshadow, and I created little half circles of C's right there. So now we're going to start with the powder contour. I use this Bobbi Brown Golden Light Bronzing Powder. This is an old Bare Essentials brush, and I would actually hold it like this, dab it in, and the same on the other side. I would also take what's left on the brush and I would do it in the temples and then down here. At this point, I'll just blend it out a little bit because my cheeks look a little blocky. And then I'll take like a pink. This is the MAC in Mocha. Same brush, but I won't hold it like this anymore. I'll pretty much just like wipe some of it off on the towel. I'll go ahead and put this on my cheeks. Hold my face. And then what I'll do to finish it off is I'll use this mineralized skin finish. So it's like a strobing powder, although it wasn't called strobing when this came out. I'll take like a feather light brush. This is also, I believe, from Bare Essentials back in the day. Swirl it around, tap it once, and then just put it all over my cheekbones where it gives off some light. Kind of gives me that shimmer. Now we're almost done, just lips now. So start with a lip liner. This is from, this is an automatic long-lasting lip liner in Red Velvet. This is made by a friend of mine, Linda Ontiveros. She's also a sponsor of Miss California. Then you can use any lipstick. This is a Locked Lippy from Mana Kadar. And then finish it off with some lip gloss. You can use any lip gloss, but this is the one that I'm using is this high shimmer lip gloss from Bobbi Brown. So there you have it. This is the final look. Everything I did today is genuinely what I do in my routine. I don't go to a pageant every day, so this is definitely a little heavier than usual. So, you know, a regular makeup, probably regular day doesn't need these spider leg lashes. But just remember to practice, have a good time with it. Everything that I showed you doesn't have to be, you know, replicated step by step for you. There is no such thing as a one size fits all sort of makeup process. Every single makeup artist you ask will have like their own way of doing things, their own favorite products. Don't be afraid to try, you know, drugstore brands, because sometimes they're just as good as some of those expensive ones. Just have fun with it. Like, this is really fun. You get to kind of dress up and go be fancy. So enjoy it and let me know if I could help at all. Leave a comment, subscribe for future videos, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. I hope it was helpful. I'll catch you at the next video. Thanks. Bye.